Hey there folks, how you doing today? Hope all is going well for you. Welcome back to the channel. Please bear with any background racket that you might hear throughout this production. We are on location where life happens, and sometimes there's stuff going on out there that we can hear in here. Let's just deal with it. This video is going to be a rather short one. This is a viewer feedback to a video that we did on the Ruger Max 9, I think 2 years ago. And it has to do with the need and or the lack thereof of a manual safety on a striker-fired handgun for EDC purposes. Earlier today, I received the following comment from a viewer known as Wyomans, I think that is. Forgive me, I'm reading here so that I can get it all out there to you, and then we'll talk about it for a minute afterwards. Wyomans said 2 hours ago, "The safety is one of the best features of this gun. Why would you remove it? There are tons of options for pistons." I think that's supposed to say pistols, so we'll go with that. Tons of options for pistols without manual safeties, few with them anymore, and it literally takes no time to disengage. For EDC, especially appendix carry, that little piece of metal can prevent a whole mess if you make a mistake on the draw or reholster, as does happen. Before we go any further, let me preface with this. When making a video for this channel, making a video for you guys, the viewers, the people that watch these things, there's a juggling act that goes on between, keeping something concise to where people will actually watch it versus expounding enough to where people understand things. And you must understand that when it comes to the viewers of this content, on one hand, we have people that have years of experience with firearms. On the other hand, we have novices and beginners that are just trying to figure it out. And then you have a wide margin of people that are in the middle. As I'm sure you're aware, I tend to get a little long-winded sometimes, and in order to keep the videos down to a time constraint, for the sake of brevity, we do not always go back to the dawn of time in explanations for why something is the way that it is. Most of these folks and these folks understand that. To these folks, it could be a real head scratcher. Because of that, I have taken the time in the past to make a few videos that are geared primarily to these folks. I also realize it would be unfair to most of these folks and to these folks to dig back to the dawn of time each and every time, just for the sake of explaining to a few people that have questions. I do not know if Wyomans is one of these people, one of these people, or one of these people. However, the argument that they presented and the manner in which they presented it leads me to believe that this individual is probably over here somewhere. So now, with all that out of the way, let me read to you the response that I gave to him. Alright, I just finished writing this about 10 minutes ago, and I had a few minutes, so I decided to go ahead and make this video. Let's see here. While it wasn't covered with a dawn of time explanation in this video, I have exhausted the subject in other presentations on this channel. Since you asked the question, I'll share the logic behind the decision to remove the safety with you. Please understand that I am not telling you what to do or that my way is better than yours. I'm merely stating why I believe that a manual safety has no place in a modern concealed carry firearm. Many years ago, with some exceptions, firearms were designed with manual safeties of some type as a primary means of safe carry. Manual safeties of this era operated to either block the hammer, decock the hammer, block the sear, block the trigger, or some combination thereof. Other firearms designs lack the presence of a manual safety altogether due to the inherently safe manner in which they operate. Most notably, both single and double action revolvers, with few exceptions, fall into this category. Moving forward to the modern striker fire handgun age, I will focus on the Glock safe action as a point of reference to this explanation. Most modern striker-fired handguns have multiple passive safety features built into their design. This includes the Ruger Max 9. In fact, Ruger manufactures the Max 9 with a variant free of said manual safety. However, at the time this weapon was purchased for review, I was unable to source one. A manual safety on a striker-fired handgun is no more necessary than it is on a double or single action revolver. That said, several manufacturers produce models that feature them, targeted to consumers that feel the need to have a manual safety. While I know nothing of your personal experience level, I can compare it with this. As a career law enforcement officer with nearly 2 decades of armed service carrying handguns that did not feature manual safeties, I can personally testify to the safety of carrying a striker-fired handgun with no need for a manual safety. Furthermore, and this is the big one, under duress, your fine motor skills go right out the window. Every step you must perform in order to draw, present, aim, and fire your weapon becomes more difficult as tension and adrenaline levels rise. Fumbling around for a tiny tab of metal on the side of a tiny handgun under stress when your life is on the line could be the difference between life or death. Concerning the appendix carry method you referenced, I'll start by saying that not every weapon is best suited for every task. If I were at all worried about the issues with my chosen method of carry for a particular weapon, I'd consider altering the dynamics to better suit the mission. Again, I'm not telling you what to do or that your way is wrong. I only encourage you to consider that if you are carrying a weapon with a manual safety engaged as a means of self-preservation, that you train yourself to the point that the steps required to deploy said weapon are committed to muscle memory and become second nature. Good luck to you, thanks for watching, and God bless. Alright, so I realize that was a little long-winded, and again, as I've said time and time again, you just can't do that in every video, folks. Now, concerning manual safeties or the lack thereof, I understand there's people in this crowd, and there's a few people in the middle. Going back to my upbringing, anytime I was handed a firearm, you'd shoot it, whoever, grandpa, dad, whoever it is, and I'll be sure you put the safety on. I was one of those. I grew up with that mindset. I also grew up at a time when we used rotary telephones. Televisions had knobs on the front of them, and you needed a paper map in the glove box of your car if you were going out of town. Times have changed, technologies have improved, and given that most striker-fired handguns are designed by their very nature to function without a manual safety is reason enough for me to believe that adding the complication of one is a bad idea. I would certainly like to hear your thoughts on this matter. You can give us a like or a dislike. Tell us how we did down below. If you're still here at this point, thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.